So again, I'm Greg Padrick. I'm the chief here in DeKalb County Police Department. I've been with the police department for more than 28 years. I started here in 1997. I now only look to be about 28 years old, but I age well. Now, in all seriousness, it's been a very rewarding career. I've had the opportunity to serve in many different functions and roles throughout the department, serving the community of DeKalb County, and I'm proud to be your chief of police and continue service to our community. In my 28 years, I've been an assistant chief over multiple divisions. I worked my way through the ranks, through the entire uniform division, serving in every rank. I spent time in the criminal investigations division in multiple different areas, from homicide to narcotics, robbery, auto theft, intelligence, and other areas. I've also spent time in internal affairs as a detective and a supervisor in our internal affairs unit. So I have had a great opportunity to spend a lot of time in and throughout our police department. So thank you. What we're going to do this evening, this is our year-end wrap-up from 2025, giving you kind of an update on what went on in the police department in 2025 and where we're going moving forward in 2026. Before you, we have Assistant Chief Hughes, who is our Uniform Division Commander, Major Barron, who is your East Precinct Commander, Assistant Chief Robertson, who is over our Special Services Division, which he's got a big plate with multiple different areas of expertise, from support services to all of our special operations. Assistant Chief Pop, who's our Criminal Investigations Division Commander, and Lieutenant Smith, I'm sure most of you will be excited to hear from this evening. He is now the director of our new state-of-the-art real-time crime center, so he'll be giving you a brief on our real-time crime center and what it's going to be able to do to enhance public safety for our county. Once the presentations have been completed, we're going to have a question and answer portion. And I know that the cards have been passed around. If you do have questions, please write your name on the card, and we will call in the order that we receive them. Want to be respectful of the library's time and thank them for allowing us to host this here. They have a close time of 8 o'clock, so we will definitely be out of here by 8 o'clock. All right. So let's go to the next slide, please. Little update on major crimes. Obviously, these are important to everyone. We track them, we investigate them, and we work hard to reduce them. Before I even point out some of our successes this year, I do want to go ahead and address the red numbers on the board. If you can see it, aggravated assaults went up by 2%. We had 69 additional aggravated assaults in 2025 compared to 2024. We attribute that to multiple different, which I'm sure many residents are aware, multiple different drive-by shooting incidents, way too much of that type of criminal activity in the county, and domestic violence plays a huge role in our aggravated assaults. Several years ago, the statutes changed with domestic violence, and any type of strangulation is involved, that is counted as an aggravated assault now. Business burglaries, this is something that we concentrate on heavily. Obviously, this is an overnight hours type of activity. We're trying to do everything we can to increase patrols. Our real-time crime center will help us address this and have a more strategic approach in addressing business burglaries throughout our communities. One of the things that I am proud to say, a 29% reduction in homicides last year. That is a huge, huge reduction in homicides, and we averaged, well over 100 in years previous, and we ended the year of 2025 below 100 for the first time in many years. Obviously, one homicide is too many, so I don't like to celebrate that too much. Anytime there's a loss of life, it's tragic and it's too many, but we're trending in the right direction in that area, and we hope to improve on that as we move forward. Robberies, as you can see in all three categories, pedestrian, business, and residential robberies, are all showing a decrease year over year. And what the robberies are, sometimes people get confused with burglaries and robberies. When somebody's home gets broken into, they'll say, I've been robbed. But the robbery actually takes place on that individual person. When something is stolen, when there's person-to-person contact, and that's where the business, residential, and pedestrian robbery numbers are broken down. And all of this is done through FBI reporting standards that we are required to report by, and it's our National Incident-Based Reporting System. Stolen vehicles has been a big issue. We've seen a decrease in that, as well as entering autos. We've had several different rings of activity that we have been able to make progress with in investigations, and our investigations unit has done a great job clearing those cases and holding those people responsible. Calls for service. This is a big one that I don't think a lot of people really understand, and something that we don't do a good job educating the public on. And I do want to draw your attention to the number of calls for service, 911 calls. And then we get a lot of complaints regarding the hold times, how long it takes to answer the 911 call, the response times. But as you can see, for all 4 precincts, over 310,000 911 calls were responded to last year. We have a sworn staffing level of just over 550, and when we began last year we had 530, and I'll talk a little bit more about the numbers in a minute. And many of those are not on patrol. We have to fill investigations, special operations, and other assignments as well, so we've done an incredible job keeping up with the call volume. Proud to say here in East Precinct, y'all's call volume went down by about 7,000 calls, which is huge, which means that Major Barron is doing a good job addressing the issues in the East Precinct and driving some of those needs for calls down. Some of our community engagements, again, we're here tonight. This is a town hall. This is one of 4 that we're doing over the next few weeks. We're going to hit every precinct and make sure that we educate the community on what your police department is doing. But this is one of 4 town halls that we'll be doing, like I said, in the next 2 weeks, and we'll do it again mid-year, kind of give you a mid-year update. Last year we held 2 safety fairs. We did one at Rainbow and Candler. Those are great events. I hope you know about them, and if you didn't attend last year, I hope you attend this year. We do rides for the kids. We have multiple different vendors. We do child seat checks, all kinds of events, and moving forward, we're going to try to partner with more of the public safety umbrella and incorporate the fire department and the other public safety organizations into our safety fairs to make it even better for our community. Coffee with the Cops, I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Those are held in each precinct every month. Majors Night Out, again, same thing. Each precinct, once a month, the majors will go out into the community and meet with the community to address concerns, and so you just get to know your police department. It's not just for the Majors Night Out. He brings multiple staff members. He or she brings detectives, officers, so you get to know the ones that are working in your area. National Night Out, need I say more? Everybody knows about National Night Out. We do several of those because it's hot. I think it's in August, right? National Night Out's in August, right? Yeah, so it's hot. So now we've got one in October for the ones that it's too hot in August. But we do both. Community outreach and engagement events. I mean, those do include clergy meetings, other events. Different precincts do different things with pizza with a cop, ice cream with a cop, different social events so that we're engaged with our community. Trunk or treat is always a big one on Halloween. Many of our cars are decorated, and we have multiple different partners, both public and private, that assist with those trunk or treat events. Our Shop with a Cop events, that's through our Police Athletic League and our community engagement. During Christmas time, and helping to get the kids that need some toys for Christmas, making sure that they get what they need. Winter clothing drive is along the same lines. We do different events and different donation drop-offs throughout the department in order to provide for the needy. Our Citizens Police Academy. Anybody in here been through our Citizens Police Academy? How was it? Great. Yes. And we focus on those, and we put a lot of time and attention towards those in our training division. And each year we try to build upon it. So even if you've been, and we've got many that have been multiple times, it changes, it gets better, and we base it on the feedback we get from those who attend the Citizens Police Academy. It's a comprehensive academy, one night a week. I think it's Wednesday nights, is that right? Wednesday nights from about 6 to 8, and it is a deep dive into the police department. From training, from investigations, from special operations, bombs, canines, crime scene, The DA comes, talks about prosecutions, the judicial system. So it's a great Citizens Police Academy, and it's a great time. And I had the opportunity over several years to go at the beginning and go at the end. And in the beginning, everybody's a little nervous and quiet, but at the end, it is like a family group. So you get to know some great people in your community if you did not know them before. So I encourage you, if you've not been to our Citizens Police Academy, sign up and register. Our public education specialist will have information regarding that. We are doing it again this year, and it fills up quick. Faith in Blue events, we do a lot of partnerships with our faith-based community through all religions. I don't know if I did mention the clergy meetings, but the Faith in Blue is a national movement, and we make sure that our department participates and is actively involved in those Faith in Blue events. They're events that really bring us all together in the community to make our community safer. A big push that we've had over the last couple years, and we have restocked our gun safes. We've been running out, which is a good thing. We will give you a gun safe if you do not have a gun safe. Gun safety is paramount. We've seen way too many children die as a result of an unsecured firearm. So we just want to promote responsible, safe firearm ownership and security. And we've seen way too many cars broken into where guns were stolen. So if you keep them in the safe, you keep them properly secured, it will prevent injuries, it will prevent theft, which ultimately leads to some of the drive-by shootings and some of the shooting incidents that we see where they're stolen firearms that ended up in the wrong hands. And then finally, Movie with a Cop. Again, through our Police Athletic League, we stay very engaged. We make sure we spend time with the children, and we send them to the movie theater, spend a day with them, make sure everybody has a good time with whatever movie is on the agenda for that event. Hiring and retention, I mentioned our numbers. So when we started last year, we started at 536 sworn officers. We ended 2025 with 580. That's a 9% growth rate. First time in many years that we've even experienced a growth rate. We've seen many officers leaving for many different reasons, but they're coming back. We were able to hire many officers this year, a lot that had left the agency and have returned. That goes to the commitment to the county and the organization. So we're excited about what's going forward. Our non-sworn or civilian staffing, we did have a difference of 14 less civilian staff last year, but as you learn more about the Real-Time Crime Center, we're focused on staffing that with civilian crime analysts. So we're excited about the opportunity to hire as many civilian analysts as we can. Our goal is to run that crime center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it'll take a lot of civilian personnel to accomplish that task, but we know it's going to be very important to the safety of our community. At this time, I'll turn it over to Assistant Chief Hughes, our Uniform Division Commander. You can sit or you can come up.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So as Chief Pedro said, I am Assistant Chief Romaldo Hughes. I am over the Uniform Division. The Uniform Division encompasses 4 precincts. We have our Tucker Precinct, which is kind of the northeastern side of the county. We have our South Precinct, which of course is south. We have our North Central Precinct, which is a centralized area within the county, and here at the East Precinct. A little bit about me, I'm a proud native of DeKalb County, born and raised here, raised my kids here. Actually lived in Lithonia for years, went to Lithonia High School. I grew up on the south side initially, and then we moved to Lithonia back in the early 80s, back when all this was still woods. Anybody remember those days? Remember when they cleared the land for the mall and they stayed there for like 20 years? Yeah, so my first job was at that Waffle House down there before they cut their road down, and when it was still a Kroger back over there, remember that? Yeah, so proud native of DeKalb County. I've been with the department now for about 28 years or so. Started my career in the Sheriff's Department first and decided I wanted to come and be a part of the best department, so I came over with the police, where I've been for the last 28 years. I am also over our community outreach units, which encompasses our mobile crisis unit. And what they do is they respond to situations where an individual may be having, a mental health crisis. And we have licensed counselors and therapists that ride with the police officers. That unit has been found to be very effective in, over the last several years, we've seen incidents across the nation where people experiencing mental health crisis, when they interact with the police, sometimes it hasn't turned out very favorable. Having these officers trained specifically in dealing with those type of individuals and having the licensed clinician in the vehicle with them has cut down tremendously on the amount of volatile encounters that we've had with people experiencing mental health crisis. And they follow up with people to make sure they're taking their medications. They connect them with resources and so forth. So very valuable unit that we have. And also I'm over the community policing unit. I can't say enough about this unit. We have helped people get housing. They provide clothing, food, Christmas gift for kids. Just another unit to connect us with the community, to kind of break down that barrier between the community and the police. If you see them, they wear light blue shirts, kind of give that softer, kinder approach. And it has been very effective. We also have a police athletic league that falls under me. This unit, once again, can't say enough about them. Every year we do something called basketball after dark? Midnight basketball, where we take an average of 100 plus young men and some women, because they come and volunteer, off the streets at night during the summertime, where they can come and do something constructive. Matter of fact, Captain Rory, who was the assistant commander at East Precinct, he's one of the coaches. And he can tell you it is a phenomenal program. These young men could be doing who knows what that time of the night. But we provide them a safe place to get some exercise, and we provide them they eat good. We feed them really well. Sometimes I go just for the dinner, I ain't gonna lie, because I can't play basketball no more. But, and the officers that are over that unit, they're very committed. Not only do we do athletics with them, we also have female empowerment programs where we take young ladies and teach them different things about life, about finances. We have one for boys as well, kind of preparing them for the future. So that unit has been very instrumental in changing the lives of a lot of our young people. And lastly, but not least, we have community service aides that are assigned to each one of the precincts. And you all may have seen them. They wear the bright neon yellow shirts. So their jobs basically is to respond to nonviolent calls or calls that would only require a police report and not necessarily have to have an officer there. So that frees up our officers to go to the more weightier matters, things that are more serious. They can come out, they make reports, they can help us with traffic details. Sometimes they have to work the screening desk when needed. So that kind of frees up an officer to go to the more serious calls by having those community service aides out. They can provide information as needed and so forth. So we are doing a lot in the Uniform Division. Uniform Division is the biggest division within the department. So Chief and I talk either by phone or email several times a day. Sometimes we look at each other like, oh yeah, I just saw you like 2 minutes ago, right? But I love what I do. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about the direction of the police department, where we're headed. Glad to see all of you out tonight, and I'm always just a phone call away. So I'm going to turn it over now to the commander of the East Precinct, who is doing a phenomenal job. She took my old spot. I used to be the commander down there. She says she made it better since she's been there. I don't know. That's debatable. But Major Barron, I'm turning it over to her at this time.
Thank you, Chief Hughes and Chief Pedre. First of all, I want to welcome each and every last one of you for coming out and fellowshipping with us on this evening. You could have been anywhere, but I appreciate that you're choosing to be here. I am Major Barron. I am the precinct commander. We have Captain Rory. He's the assistant precinct commander. Behind him is Lieutenant Tyner. She is our administrative supervisor. And we have Lieutenant Heimer here. He is the commander over East Criminal Investigation Division, and we have a host of detectives that is here as well. Well, looking back at 2025, we put forth a strategic multidimensional approach that led to a 26% reduction in our property crimes. That was by aggressive investigations, community and business partnership, and dealing with the quality of life issues. Now, when it comes to our aggressive and criminal investigations, we wanted to send a strong, sound, but deliberate message that you will not come to DeKalb County, specifically East Precinct, commit a crime, and our officers and detectives will not follow every lead, turn over every stone, and beat the street to find you. Now, ECID, we maintain a case clearance rate of 4% higher than a national average. We conducted multiple analytical, stat-driven crime suppression details. We had a robbery detail, auto theft detail that actually led to 12% reduction. We had an entering auto detail, 41% deduction, and we had a residential and commercial burglary detail that led to 42% reduction. We infiltrated and dismantled multiple organized crime networks and crime rings. We had a manhole crime ring where we cleared 91 cases, a copper theft ring where we infiltrated 4 crews and made 16 arrests. We also had an organized shoplifting network where overall we cleared 110 cases, making 62 arrests. Now, our second part of our strategic multiple dimensional approach is a community and business partnership. We realized that we cannot do it by ourselves. We collaborated with the City of Stonecrest on community engagements and workshops. We partnered with local hotels, the mall, the surrounding stores and businesses, where we put forth the coordinated strategic overt patrol visibility program and a covert enforcement efforts that brought about an overall 40% decrease in the crimes in that area. We work diligently with individual residences, businesses, and the communities, conducting SEPTED analysis. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, that is when our public education specialist, Ms. Weber, who is standing out in the lobby, she will come out to your residence or your homes. SEPTED, let me tell you, it stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And what she would do is a strategic analysis of your business or your residence and help you come up with ways that would make crimes being committed at your location little less, be able to happen, or doesn't allow people to get away with it as much. So she would put forth those type of ideas to you to help you out with that concern. Ms. Weber also conducted 189 local meetings with the communities, the businesses, the organizations. She was at the schools, anybody that would invite us or accept our invitation. And these meetings were designed to help put out information about growing and strengthening partnerships. We conducted year-round, month-to-month community engagements, educating the community about crime tips, stat surges, and introducing available resources through the DeKalb County Police Partnership. And we also took that time to talk about the importance of the community and police partnership and getting feedback from you all of what can we do to help strengthen that as well. Now, the third thing in dealing with the strategic multidimensional approach is dealing with the quality of life issues. These are times where we had to go out and address the harmful and disruptive behaviors that was causing disorder and community morale to go down, like the tire and illegal dumping. We did several initiatives, and we are still doing those initiatives. We have been assisting the unhoused by getting our community policing unit and our mobile crisis unit to assist us with going out and offering resources to them. We did the illegal loitering, which was the first time ever in DeKalb County history, and that was an initiative put forth by Madam CEO Lorraine Cochran Johnson, where it allows us to be able to take more effective and immediate law enforcement action when we're dealing with illegal loitering. And those are the things that's taken away the beauty and the peace that you all deserve as residents and businesses in DeKalb County. We also have been dealing with nuisance and blighted residences, dealing with the abandoned vehicles that are sitting on the streets. We are taking down what we call the neighborhood mechanic. You know, we're working with code enforcement to deal with things that is out of our control that are happening actually on the properties. And we've been working hard with them to come out, and they have been very supportive in trying to clean up the community in those small areas that make a big difference. We've also been dealing with the water boys. We had a strong initiative that we put forward last year where we was Wesley Chapel, Panola Road, and then they even went to Evans Mill on us, but we was right there. So just clean up those things so that you all can pull up to your exit and ain't got to worry about the buggy sitting there with the water bottles. Now, looking forward to 2026, as we are in, we're going to continue our community and business partnerships because, like I said earlier, we cannot do it by ourselves, just like you can't do it by yourselves. We're going to come together and we're going to do this thing. We are going to continue our direct relational community engagements. That is understanding that not all communities are alike. All communities, y'all have different concerns, so we want to come more out into the communities and deal with the issues that affect you, opposed to having these big meetings, and now in a very short period of time, we're trying to help everybody. So we want to bring it back into the communities to deal with what your plight is. We're also going to continue implementing our problem-oriented police methods. That's where we're going to continue to follow our stats, analyze the issues to come up and determine what is the level, measure, and method of enforcement that our community need for you all to want to stay, you all to want to come and get it to thrive again. And I'm going to pass it over to Chief Robertson.
I actually don't know how I'm going to follow that.
Before you get started, up on the screen is Ms. Danae Weber's information. She is your public education specialist. Each precinct has a devoted public education specialist, and the sole responsibility is to make sure that our entire public has a single source to go to for anything and everything. There she is. Anything and everything related to the police department. If you need something and don't know where to go, you go to her and she'll point you in the right direction or make that connection for you to get everything taken care of that you need taken care of. So, sorry, Chief Robertson, go ahead.
No problem, Chief. I am Lonzie Robertson, Assistant Chief of our Special Services Division. And I say I have to correct myself because that used to be 2 divisions and it is now 1, our Special Operations section and our Support Services section. I am a 24-year vet of DeKalb County Police Department. I did start my career here in East Precinct. My wife and I actually bought our first home here. We're not residents now, but we did buy our first home here in DeKalb, and I do have a love for DeKalb County. So talking a little bit about the Special Services Division, Special Operations is one of our divisions. Our sections where we deal with tactical and traffic issues. So our tactical units like SWAT, aerial support, all the kind of cool stuff that have the armored vehicles and all that stuff. They work to assist our other 2 divisions with Criminal Investigative Division and Uniform. So anytime they need us for something, a search warrant or whatnot, our SWAT team will go out and do that, or K-9 unit will be out with the uniform patrol guys and try to catch some of these bad guys. And so we all kind of work together to make sure that happens. We also have traffic units, which are our STEP and STAR team, motors. Those are the folks that are out there catching the speeders on the highways and going into some of your neighborhoods where you have problems where folks are speeding a little bit too much through school zones or causing issues in your neighborhood. So we do our best to handle those complaints that we do get. The other part of our house is the support services section, which is more administrative, and that's probably what some of you have dealt with as far as going to get a report from police records or doing an open records request and whatnot. And we also have our advanced technology unit and some other units that work in more of a support role to the department. One thing we did want to point out from 2025, this has been the 3rd year for our STAR team. That is our DUI unit. They do go out at night while we're all in bed, and they try to kind of shut down folks who are out here driving under the influence. That is a big deal for us because we did have a increase last year in vehicle-related fatalities. This year we were able to bring that number down, which has been excellent. but those guys actually won a Governor's Challenge Award. They are a grant-funded unit through the state, so they did win that award, and we proudly wear any awards that we get. We do have a lot of units, a lot of officers and supervisors who have won awards nationally, not only just the state, but this one we're very proud of because that unit works very hard on their task. So some of the goals we do have for Special Services Division this year are to work more closely with our precincts on our community engagement meetings. I think this is kind of the best way for you all to learn what we do. You know, we do these presentations, but it's better to have somebody there at those meetings that you can ask questions of. You want to know what the SWAT team does, how they operate, talk to somebody from the SWAT team. You want to talk to some of those guys who are out there running laser on the highways and when, you know, kind of the do's and don'ts when you're driving. Talk to those guys, you know, and so we want to make sure we're helping the uniform division with their engagement with the community. We also want to continue to build on the technology that we have. I'm an old SWAT guy. You know, I've been on the SWAT team before. I was a SWAT team commander at one point, and the technology that we have now is astounding, and it makes it more safe for them to do their jobs, utilizing robots and drones and things of that nature to complete an objective. So I am enjoying learning about new technologies that we can use to make our job a little bit easier and make it safer. Also, we want to continue to reduce our traffic fatalities. You know, obviously we have some issues with folks crossing roadways in places they shouldn't. We have DUI drivers and things of that nature, but we want to keep driving those numbers down so folks can get home safely at night. With that said, that is all from Special Services Division. I will pass it to Chief Pop in CID.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, that works better, doesn't it? I'm Chief Pop from, I'm in the Criminal Investigations Division. Just a little background. I've been with the department for over 29 years, and at any given time at some point, I have served in every division and in every precinct in this department. So I'm currently over CID. The list of the units is behind me. Basically, the Criminal Investigations Division itself handles crimes against persons and other specialized investigations. You heard the major talk earlier about Lieutenant Heimer, who's the commander over the Investigation Division at East Precinct. They handle property crimes, burglaries, auto thefts, and general thefts. They do not report to the Criminal Investigation Division. They report directly to the major. We would handle things like robberies, rapes, murders, and gang-related narcotics, some kind of specialized investigation. So if you have a complaint about Heimer, see her, not me. Some of our goals for 2026 is to maintain clearance rates above the national average. That's one thing we have always done a very good job of. We stay above the national average on homicide, rapes, aggravated assaults, and robbery clearances at all times. I can't honestly remember the last time we dipped down below, at least not when I was in command. But we have two other things here. One is the Real-Time Crime Center. Some of you got to see the video several times while you were waiting for the meeting to start. And I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it because our Real-Time Crime Center commander is sitting right next to me, and I'll let him explain it to you a lot more than what I'm going to. And the other thing we're going to do is try to expand our use of NIBINs. NIBINs is basically, think of it as fingerprints for shell casings. A lot of times at crime scenes, how many people have heard of houses being shot up in the neighborhood or there's been gunfire? Well, a lot of times you don't ever find the projectile, but you find the shell casing. And what this does is it gives us the ability to match shell casings to the gun and to different crimes. So if we find the same shell casing at this crime, 6 months later we find the same shell casings at another crime, we can actually match those guns up and say that it was from the same gun, which helps us draw, relationships between the crimes being committed. Now, I'm going to talk about something here. It was a specific murder that happened this year, and if you'll just bear with me for a minute, you'll understand why I am bringing this up. The young lady who was a victim was actually out celebrating her 21st birthday when she made the fateful error of pulling into this Exxon station on Moreland Avenue. And that is actually surveillance video from their gas station. That is what was going on in the parking lot. It was a car meetup, whatever you want to call it, street racing, drag show, whatever they terminology wanted to do. And as you can see from the man in the orange in the middle, there were multiple people who were armed. Some of them were just firing celebration rounds, and things escalated, and then they actually started having a dispute which turned into a gunfight, and unfortunately, Ms. Hightower was struck. She was not the intended target, but she was struck and killed. And during this if you go to the next slide, during this case, we used multiple things to identify the shooter. That was one, the video captured, that's him right there smiling with his mask off, that came from the actual gas station itself. The other was the ballistics, the Nibins I was just talking about. We had the shell casings from the scene, and when we were able to arrest him, we got his gun, and were able to match the shell casings from the scene to the shell casings coming from his gun. Another one of those cases where you don't get the projectile, but you get the shell casings. We also were able to track several people there because, believe it or not, some of them have ankle monitors on. And of course, cell phone data, we were able to pull cell phone data to see who was actually at the location during those times and match those up to various people that were out there. So at the end of the day, using all these different bits of technology, we were able to very quickly identify who the primary shooter was, charge him with murder, and bring him into custody. Now, that case was largely solved by various pieces of technology. And I mean, when you really stop and think about it, you had a group of people, many of whom do not know each other, who just kind of showed up for the the drift show, out acting stupid, and somebody shooting at somebody else shoots somebody who is not related to anybody there. Without the technology we have in place, that would be an extremely difficult case to solve. Who do you even start with? Because the person who's the victim doesn't know these people. There's no attachment, there's no relationship, that's not a targeted killing, so it was just, there's no relationship whatsoever, so you can't connect the victim to the perpetrator. And then the group of people that are there, as you see, a lot of them were in mass, a lot of them don't even know each other. They just showed up for the good time, for the big party. So even if you got somebody, at most they could tell you is, well, it was a black guy, he had on orange. I don't know who he was. But because of all the technology that we have and all the technology we have available to us, we were able to make that case and make a very good case. And going forward, we're going to be able to continue to do those things because of our Real-Time Crime Center. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Smith, our Real-Time Crime Center commander.
Thank you, sir. So my name is Shane Smith. I'm the new director of the Real-Time Crime Center. We officially opened it on December 15th of last year, so we've been there for just over a month, so we're still getting everything up and running. I've been with the department for 28 years. I am a proud resident of DeKalb County and here at East Precinct. I stay off Panola. I've been there for about 12 years now. Most of my career was in uniform, but I am now in CID as a part of my new position. The Real-Time Crime Center, when we are at full staff and everything's installed, we will have 24 civilian analysts using civilians so that we don't take officers off the road. They will be staffed 24/7, 365, nights, holidays, weekends, and the goal is to operate as continuous as possible. We will have 270 total Flock LPR cameras. Those are the cameras most people associate with Flock. They're the license plate readers. We currently have around 150. We're adding more with the contract that we have. Once they're all in the ground, we'll have 270 total. That is through DeKalb Police. But when you take into account HOAs, businesses, other agencies, we'll have a little over 1,200 in all of DeKalb County. In addition to that, we will have 240 approximately live video cameras. These are commonly referred to as PTZs. They pan, tilt, zoom, so you're able to move them around instead of just having a stationary image. We've placed those strategically throughout the county to get the best coverage, mainly based on crime trends and precinct requests. We have currently 2 drones in operation with plans to have 4 total by the end of the year, hopefully by this summer. The 4 drones, they are in their own docking stations. They have about a 3 to 4 mile range from wherever they're at and can respond instantly. If we get a 911 call of a serious nature, we're able to open up the program and click on the call, and it will automatically launch the drone and send it to the call. Once it gets to the call, our pilot's able to take over and start looking at the video to see what we can determine. And that helps us mainly in response time. Police cars, when they're going to calls, they have to stop at stoplights and traffic and turn left and turn right. A drone can go straight there. So it's only limited by its speed and range. The current ones that we have will go about 45 to 50 miles an hour top speed, depending on when, so they can usually get anywhere in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. All of them have night vision, and they also have infrared. So we're able to, in the event of a fire, we can use them to locate hotspots. We can locate people hiding under things or in things at night. So it's another benefit for us to have. We also have 4 flock trailers. Those are the portable trailers that have cameras attached to them and solar panels. We're able to move those into hotspots as we need them. They each have 2 PTZ cameras, and anyone's able to access them who's on the flock network. We will have 130 sound meters. Those are being installed in 4 specific areas. They're commonly known as gunshot detectors. These are a little more advanced in that they pick up gunshots as well as people screaming and vehicle accidents. They're able to alert us when it detects that, and based on all of the meters, triangulate where the sound's coming from. We use a variety of other resources. GDOT cameras, we have access to those. Fusus cameras, which are through businesses, communities. There are some private networks of apartment complexes that have video surveillance. So we're able to use as much of the technology as we can. Whenever we talk about technology, there are always concerns of privacy. So to go over a couple of things that we try to do to prevent any issues with that. Our drones currently are only responding to 911 calls or special operations. They're not out just flying around surveilling people. If we're deploying the drone, it's for a specific purpose. The cameras that have been installed and are being installed are all in public places, viewing public places. They are not infringing on anyone's backyards or privacy. It's all public view for the cameras. Access is authorized to police personnel only. It is tracked and it is logged. All the logs are maintained indefinitely, and it's able to be audited. All access logs are, we routinely audit them. There's no set time frame, but we try to do it weekly. There is a 30-day retention policy for video that we receive. So any video after 30 days, it is automatically deleted. Before that, we have the 30 days so that the detectives have enough time to, once they're assigned the case, get the details, check with us to see if we have any video footage before downloading it. So the 30 days is just to give the detectives enough time to retrieve it before it's deleted. We do not share any of our video data with third parties or with federal agencies, to include ICE or DHS, FBI, any of the federal agencies. And then there's always a question about registering. I think the next slide is the Connect DeKalb QR code. This will take you to Flock's page so that you can register your cameras. Registering is just letting us know that you have cameras at your location that are available. We do not get access to them. We don't know anything about them. All we know is that you have cameras at that address. This aids our detectives so that when there is a shooting or a theft 2 doors down, they're able to go into the system and do a search of the address and see what locations are nearby that have possible video. That way we can email the people, explain to them we had an incident, this date, this time, this is what happened. We're wanting to know if you have any video that you could share with us. And that's all it is, it's to help us. Businesses and commercial locations, they're able to actually share video with us if they would like. They can share it, and they can also restrict what cameras that we have access to. So for gas stations that might have 20 cameras around, they can restrict it to just the 6 cameras on the outside so that we're able to see what's going on outside, if that's what their concern is. So those are the main cameras. And then also the ultimate goal for the center is to enhance and improve our response time to calls. Chief Bob talked about the case a little earlier. When we started, it was weeks to months in solving a case because there wasn't cameras. There was barely cell phones. It was, everything had to be door to door, weeks or months later before we solved the crime. Now it's in a matter of weeks with the current technology that we have. But I think everyone's seen how the technology is improving and where it's going. The goal is to be able to solve crimes in hours, if not, hours, no more than days. The one that he mentioned with the shooting, the video, had that video been available to us, if the business had shared it, it's something that we would want to and be able to open it up while the officers are still actually en route to the call to see what happened, pull up video or images of the suspects or suspected shooter, and send that to the officers while they're still en route to the scene or on the scene. Whereas now sometimes it takes hours or days before we get a decent bolo that we're able to search for. Obviously, the sooner that we can get the information out, the quicker we can catch them. And that's all I have for the Crime Center.
Thank you all. And then since we're on QR codes, I want to share this with you again. This is our tip 411 or DeKalb PD tips. This QR code, if you ever have a tip and you want to submit it anonymously, this is our anonymous tip line. It goes through our public information office, and they will find out what the tip is in reference to and assign it to the appropriate investigating authority. And if you choose to remain anonymous and don't want to follow up, you can do that. If you want to follow up, you are able to follow up with them, right? Yes.
Yes, you can send another tip, and this is not connected to 911. So if you have an emergency you're seeing, don't use this. Use 911.
And speaking of 911, as I mentioned before, the call volume, we get the question a lot in reference to E911 complaints and concerns. They do not fall under the police department, but if there are ever any concerns, this is the contact information for them. If you don't have any way to record this information, you can still reach out to us and we'll point you in the right direction. With that, we're going to Q&A. I need my glasses. James Jackson. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm James Jackson. I'm a very familiar face with East Precinct, especially. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the DeKalb County police officers, but especially East Precinct. I would like to say to all the residents in the house tonight that if you're not making the coffee with the cops and you're not going to the major nights out, I would say that you have no idea what you're missing. It's a blessing to be there, and it's a bigger blessing to see more people participate. So, me being a civilian, I can say this. Don't just be a complainer, be a participant. And I would like to say this. Well, no, I'm going to ask my question. I have a situation here where my wife is usually with me, Major Barron. She knows my wife very well. She's usually with me. My wife is a disabled veteran. She's 100% total unemployability. And she has high anxieties. And my wife and I, when we're out a lot, people come up to me speaking other languages because they think I'm maybe not American. And because of that, my wife have a great concern. Now, we know ICE is all over the place. My concern is this. We know what happened in Minneapolis. Local police have been denied access to investigate what happened. And now we have ICE here. And we also found that our church sent out a notice to all our congregation letting them know that ICE is now asking for what I consider to be an illegal thing, because they're asking for something that people don't ride around with normally, which is a passport and birth certificate. People don't ride with that stuff. But this is what they're asking for, and I know there's a target project for that reason. But my concern is this. They're here. What happens in DeKalb if someone is pulled over, asks for a birth certificate and a passport, and all they have is their driver's license or whatever? In a case where a veteran was arrested who had showed his VA card, a 75-year-old man showed his veteran card, showed his driving license, and they asked the man for a passport or a birth certificate, which he didn't have on him. They arrested him, and of course, now ICE have a $16.2 million lawsuit by his daughter because they detained him, arrested him, and ran a check on him, found out who he was, and of course they turned him loose. But what happens, we know they tied Minneapolis, the federal government tied their hands in the investigation. What happens in DeKalb County if they start doing citizens in DeKalb that way? I would like to know, how does that affect the police department here, and how, if at all, your hands are tied?
Yes, sir. It's a good question. It's a very relevant and valid question in today's times. A lot of people are concerned. We're concerned, and we share your concerns. I can say I can't speak to that particular incident or what happens if. I can say this. We have a good relationship with our federal partners at this point. We have had no direct reports of ICE operations and activity in DeKalb County. However, they do not have to notify us. They're a federal agency. They're a federal law enforcement agency. But with our relationships, typically they would, and they have in the past. The DeKalb County Police Department is committed to public safety here locally to our county. We operate under Georgia law and with county authority. We do not have any authority on the federal level, anything dealing with federal immigration enforcement. That is well outside of our purview. All I can say is everyone should be cautious. I don't carry a passport, and I don't have my birth certificate. I don't even know where my birth certificate is. I do have a driver's license, but I'm not trying to make light of that. We share, we're very familiar of the concerns on our level, and part of my role is to continue to gauge those relationships with our federal partners. We have not had any issues. We still have respect here in DeKalb County with our federal partners, and that is my job as your police chief to address that should something go awry. And I would not be afraid to address that and stand up for the rights of our citizens and what I'm responsible for here in DeKalb County. Does that answer? Yes. Okay. Gregory Ford. It's a good name. My name is Greg, and I drive a Ford too, so.
Yeah, I noticed that. You spell it the same way I do.
Yes, sir.
I have 3 areas of concern based on the community that I live in. And the first concern is, what can we do about the crime in the community. We had cars broken into. We had a couple of houses that were shot up, and I requested a police officer to patrol the area. I don't know if that has been done. I'm sure that they said that that could be done. I reached out to the officer. He said he was going to do it, but I never got a response back as to when they were going to start and for how long. And I'm really concerned because as of Sunday, we had somebody car broken into it. They broke the windshield Sunday morning. If we can get somebody to patrol the area, I'm not going to say at the same time, but I would like that to happen because we had cars broken in too many times. I have two other concerns as well. The other one is we have vacant, well, I'm not going to say vacant cars in the subdivision that are just sitting there. They've been sitting there for over a year. The DeKalb County said that if it's on the street, they can take care of it. If it's on somebody's property, then that's code enforcement. But we have cars that are sitting on the street, they're not moving, and they're just there. I call 911, they act like they don't want to put in a request to have somebody come and check these vehicles out. I don't know if they're stolen, are they registered, or what. And finally, the third concern is we have a lot of cars that speed in the area. I've been trying to get speed bumps into that community. We had somebody run directly into somebody that was taking groceries out of their car, and they ran smack into them. Fortunately, they didn't lose their lives, but the man said he couldn't see. He was blinded by the sun. But if he wasn't driving that fast, I'm sure he could have stopped and not run directly and back into these individuals. So those are the three concerns that I'll have for my community, and I would like your help.
Yes, sir. So in reference to the patrol request and the car break, well, really in reference to all of your concerns, do you know Ms. Danae Weber? She is, that's your public education specialist. Get to know her, get her, there she is right there. Yeah, get to know, that is your main point of contact when you don't get the services that you need. She will help you track it down, but I'll let Major Barron speak a little bit more about some of the car break-ins and the patrol requests and things like that to answer your question.
One of the things I want to make sure, because I strongly believe in accountability, and that is holding my officers accountable like I want you all to hold me accountable. So the best way when it comes to what you're just asking for is a POAP, patrol as often as possible, or directed patrol in some areas, what we do. It is important that you get that information to Ms. Weber, because what East Precinct have is a patrol as often as possible and directed patrol database. We have an electronic database where that information is put in there, what address, what it is that we're looking out for, what special days, what special hours of the day. That way, when we're coming with intent. We know what we're looking for. We know what we need to update. And what we're doing, our administrative specialist, Tyner Webb, Lieutenant Tyner Webb, she actually goes in on a weekly basis, and she is monitoring to make sure that those officers are conducting those POAPs and those directed patrols. And they call me Mama Bear for a reason, because I do come growling, okay, when I see that it's not done. And so that is how I'm able to hold them accountable. Like I tell them, you know, I understand the patrol as often as possible, but when you serve in the community with the heart that you're supposed to serve with, that every last one of us come to serve with, we all know what East Precinct communities need more than direct POAPs. We need directed patrol. We don't need to come in between calls. We need to make sure we get there. So that's why the more information you can give us about the POAP, that's when we can determine whether or not we want to escalate it to a directed patrol. And we do monitor those. And we don't just let them tell us that they do it. If you tell us, hey, they're not doing it, but the POAP is showing they're doing it, we're going to go and we're going to pull up our CAD information that's going to let us know if an officer really gotten over there. Now, another thing about those is that they do expire after 30 days. And we do have a lot of citizens, like clockwork, every 30 days, they're calling Ms. Weber or sending her an email saying that they want to renew it for another 30 days. So definitely we want to make sure that you're getting the request in the proper way. If you're just giving it to an officer, we don't know what officer, and we cannot hold no one accountable. Yes, I would get that later. You laughing, I'm serious. I'm gonna get that name later. I would definitely get that name from you later so that we can assure that that is being done. But I do know that you're saying it could or may not have, but we will check. As far as the abandoned vehicles, please let us know what abandoned vehicles. One thing to understand is sometimes there are vehicles that you all are calling in as being abandoned, but once we get there, they actually register to the house that they're in front of. And there are certain things that we're going to look for to determine what type of law enforcement action we need to take. If we find that it is not registered, do not have insurance, if we find that it's not being driven because tires are flat, leaves are just forming around the tires, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the necessary law enforcement action. It might be red tagging it, where they will have to bring that vehicle into compliance. They have 5 days to do so, as well as if we find that the vehicle creates a safety issue, then we will go ahead and we will tow that vehicle right away. So it's different situations, but again, you can give Ms. Weber that information as well, and we will deploy our CSAs, our community service aides, or an officer out there, and we will follow up. I'm a pass that on to the radar.
So while I was here, I was just making sure we pulled up our piece of the county website. There is a button on there where you can report a traffic concern, and those complaints come directly to us, and we send units out to go handle those concerns. So that's just supplementing what the precinct is already doing, but we operate on our own, and we'll come out there with several officers just to check the location, check for speeders. If we have to write citations, we will do that. We do have also speed trailers as well. And, you know, I know all of us do it. You see those speed trailers, you see that thing ticking, you're trying to get back under it. And no, we're not writing you tickets with the speed trailer. But yeah, that's an opportunity for us to work in the community as well.
And that's it. If you Google DeKalb County Police Department, as soon as our website comes up, there's multiple different tabs that you can click on, and one of them is to report a traffic concern. So if it goes down there, again, for the accountability, that allows us to track it, assign the appropriate resources, and follow up to make sure that it was handled appropriately. Lathonza Williams.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lathonza Williams. I live off of Panola in that area. And in December of 2024, someone ran into my fence, and the officer on the scene did not capture my information properly, so I was unable to get the police report. By the time I was able to get that sorted out and get the police report, pay for it, I realized that he had a trial date that had already passed, and he had been pulling me off for weeks and months at a time, saying, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do, and he never did anything. So I was in a position where I tried to contact his insurance company and found that the insurance information that he provided you all was incorrect. And then I went to court to file a small claim against him, just to find out that the address that he gave you all was incorrect. And even though he wasn't able to be served because of that, the persons who live at the address did get him the information, and he contacted me and again pretended that he was gonna do the right thing. In the midst of all that, like I said, December 2024, in the midst of all that, up until maybe 3 months ago, I had been calling the police department trying to get updated information, and no one calls me back. I don't get any updated information. I asked for the police report to be updated. Nothing happened. And so my question is, who do I call?
Major Barron. Yes, you can call me. That is, and I'm very sorry that, one, you're going through that with this incident. but I'm also sorry that you're having a hard time getting us to make the proper correction that we need to make that would probably assist you in this plight. So you can definitely give me a call. Anybody that knows me, I see like Miss Fudge here, that's my little friend, Miss Fudge, you know, and everybody that I work for, they know that when I get to the office, I'm at the office. And if I happen to step away from my desk, you leave a message, I will call you back. In order for us to have a strong partnership, you have to be able to trust your partner. And you also have to have access. I mean, what type of partnership you can have with somebody and you can't even get in contact with them? And that's not me. So you have an issue like that. Like I always tell my children, everybody have a boss, everybody have a manager. Don't go fussing with that person, ask for their manager. Just give me a call, and we will make sure that we get this taken care of for you.
I did escalate it to his boss.
Who, it was it East Precinct?
Yeah, I'll share that with you privately.
Okay.
But yes, I did, and they didn't call me back.
Okay, and you got the right one tonight. It probably was Lieutenant King right there. Everybody, just playing. That is Lieutenant King. He's our evening watch lieutenant.
Okay, so y'all are going to connect after, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I got the name.
Cordero Charity.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Charity. I am the president for Scarborough Square Community Association, if you're familiar with it. First thing is follow-up communication. I'm not experiencing any, and I live in a very difficult neighborhood in which I'm trying to turn around, primarily by myself. And so things like drugs are rampant in my neighborhood. And I did send out an email to Chief Pedrick, and he did get back to me, so thank you for that. But it's when the follow-up, like we don't know where the situations are, and I have multiple drug situations in our community. We have multiple people shooting off guns in our community. And when I put in information about these to you guys, I just don't know where we are. So I think we're missing a piece of the follow-up communication. So if somebody can help me out with that, I really, really need a partner. Our community needs a partner. So that will help us out. Also, Covington Highway and Scarborough Drive. Covington Highway, we know there's a lot of speeding, but specifically that entrance is where my community comes in and out. And we have lost lives from our community driving and walking over the years that this community has been in place, which is since 1978. So I would like for something to be addressed there where we can make our community a lot more safer as far as the traffic. We even have a missing crosswalk that's going from our side of Covington Highway to the other side. There's no crosswalk at all. And we've asked for traffic lights, and they told us well, it's too close to another traffic light. So we need some type of solution there if possible. And then someone mentioned directed patrol. I'm familiar with the like the POA, but I don't know what directed patrol is, so if someone could mention that. And then lastly, I know someone just mentioned speed trailers. A previous meeting that I came to, another lady asked about it, and they said, oh, just email us, and we'll be able to get back to you, and we can get one in your community. Well, when I emailed for Scarborough Square, they told us that it wasn't available, and it wasn't something that they could do for our community. So I'm a little lost on that piece. Other than that, also, shout out to Ms. Weber. She does a great job in getting back to me. I appreciate her. She's really helped in getting our HOA and trying to get the crime down. But again, it's the missing piece for me of like the follow-up.
Okay. So I wrote it down. In reference to the narcotics violations, some of those investigations may take time depending on the type of violation. We may use covert methods. But if you'll get with Assistant Chief Pop afterwards and give him some information about the specific concern, again, we track all of our complaints, and we should be doing a better job making those connections. And if you have or want an update, we should be able to update you and let you know it's still under investigation. Obviously, due to the sensitivity, we're not going to jeopardize our investigations and give you details, but it would be something that we can at least follow up and say, yes, we're aware and we are still working on it. the traffic concerns regarding, engineering and stuff like that. We can enforce traffic, but we can't do the traffic engineering. One of the things I would suggest is reaching out to DeKalb County's Traffic Engineering Department to see if they can come up with their engineers for a better solution for those type of concerns, because all we can do is enforce the traffic laws and the traffic signage that is there. With regard to directed patrol, directed patrol is different from a patrol as often as possible. Those are put in at request of the community. Directed patrol is when we see a concern. And the commanders, whether it's a watch commander, the major, whoever, it is directed from supervision within the department that we have seen, okay, we've had so many patrol requests for this location. Now it's a directed patrol. Now we're putting more resources other than just a POAP to a specific address. It may be directed patrol to a specific community based on the needs, but that's where the directed patrol comes from internally. And then finally, the speed trailer, is that what the last one? Again, if you can go to the DeKalb Police website and that tab for report a traffic concern, again, that gives us the opportunity to track it. But Chief Robertson can assist you. We do have speed trailers. We do deploy them. They are a great resource, and sometimes we don't have enough to go around, but we will definitely get you on the rotation, and that may have been the concern there. Mm-hmm. Esther Ferris. Oh, well, thank you for being here. That was the easiest one all day. Josh. How you doing, sir? Good, thank you.
Oh, okay. Josh, live off Panola Road as well, same community as Greg earlier. Mine is a little bit more all-encompassing. So, as we all know, ICE is a big concern right now for many Americans, and DeKalb County has one of the largest immigrant populations in the country, especially Clarkston. My question, I guess, would be very specifically, what would be the process as far as having DeKalb County Police be a trusted law enforcement vehicle that actually shows their face to be a witness for these different ICE, whatever they're doing? So, case in point, I just know very specifically if I happen to encounter them before I even go down the path or whatever else in between, I would like another law enforcement officer, one that's from my community, to at the very least be a witness. So what would be the best avenue in having DeKalb County come out and be a part of whatever is happening?
Yes. So again, like I said earlier, we are committed to local law enforcement. We do have a good relationship with our federal partners. We have no confirmed reports of ICE operations currently in DeKalb County. They don't have to reach out to us, but we do engage with them and speak with them, and we have a good relationship at this point. To specifically answer your question, it's kind of a hypothetical thing. All I can say is if a resident calls 911 and we get a 911 call, we are going to respond. What happens when we get there? The entire scene dictates what happens when we get there. We do not have federal authority over immigration. If they take law enforcement action before we get there, we can't intervene on their law enforcement action as long as it's lawful and proper. If it's not lawful and proper, we will address that accordingly.
How do we get a report of whatever you guys witnessed? Because I get that you're not going to be able to intervene or participate, if you will, but having an official report from a law enforcement agency would be very helpful.
Yes, well, first of all, our officers wear body-worn cameras. So when they get there, it's going to be on camera. All of our officers that respond to calls are equipped with body-worn cameras. But if the situation dictates that a written report is needed, then we would do that as well. Does that answer your question? I can't really deal in hypothetical. I mean, it would just, we have to deal with the realities of what we have. So it's difficult to say, but I can say if a citizen in DeKalb calls 911, a DeKalb County police officer is coming, and they are equipped with body-worn cameras, that they are not to manipulate. Kimberly Irish. Okay, great. We got some more cards? Go ahead and call them out.
Well, my question is, I've been living in DeKalb County since 1994, and I had my husband killed in a carjacking, and I'm very, very concerned about our neighborhoods because we got these young thugs coming in selling drugs. They may be done moved, but they still come back into the neighborhood in the daytime, and at night everything be black in their house. And so I'm very concerned about that. And then they got speeding up and down the road, still speeding. This Dodge Charger, he been had it without a tag for 8 months. And he bagging in at the address, and he coming in there selling drugs. And it's a Mustang flying up and down the road, and I live on a hill. I'm so afraid that something gonna happen, because I had already been in a situation that a little girl around the corner got hit, and I had to go to court for it because I told the police I seen them flying and they was gonna hit someone. And I'm so afraid that I might be a victim one day.
Major Boone.
Ms. Fudge, I just got word that flew in from the assistant chief himself, Chief Robertson. He's going to get someone over there to deal with the speeders. As I stated to you when you came to and I appreciate you always coming to the meetings to stay informed and to communicate with us as well, and I appreciate that. As I stated to you, one of the problems that a lot of times we have is once we get to a particular call, the situation is no longer there, and I try my best to keep you anonymous. One of the problems is then being able to have the evidence for us to take strict law enforcement action other than just giving hey, someone is complaining on you speeding, but we do not have the evidence of it. But we bringing in the head honchos here. And, they're going to be able to, one of the things about the specialized positions is that although they help us with call volume when they're in our area, but they're able to concentrate solely on those specific issues. Whereas when you call in 911 about someone that lives in an area that don't have a tag on the vehicle that's in their yard, that call is not going to take precedence over some of the other 911 calls. And so by the time we get over there, the car is gone and things like that. And in one case where we went to the Dodge Charger house, the parents was lying, the person don't stay here, but we stayed on top of it and snuck up on them. And so, but now you got another one in the area. But that's one of the things. But as I promised you, Ms. Fudge, you can hold me accountable, and you just keep. Ms. Fudge comes to the meeting with notes, Chief. She has a book, she has dates, and that's the information that helps us. It helps us. So there go that book. Sometimes I hate when she pull it out. I'm just kidding, Ms. Fudge. But you keep communicating with me, and we're going to continue to work this, and we getting some extra enforcement in, and that's going to help us out a lot, okay? All right. Well, you ain't saying nothing but a word. our real-time crime center, that's what the communication, we get that feedback from you all, our stats, and that's what we send to them, and they come around and so one of the problems I do want to put out when it comes to like the speed trailers, do understand that we're dealing with all of DeKalb, and we have to share those speed trailers with all of DeKalb. So we have to do it on a rotation basis. Same thing when it comes to our directed patrols and our POAPs. We have a lot of communities in these precincts that we're trying to split our resources over. So, just continue to give us that feedback and be patient with us and work with us as we work all together to make it better for everybody. Thank you, Chief.
Chief, next we have Mr. Banks.
My name is Gerald Banks. I live off of Marbert Road, and I live in the Cherokee Valley subdivision. I noticed since the signs have been torn down that we have an abnormal amount of big vehicles on Marbert Road. There are two schools, Marbert Theme School, Lithonia High School, and it's not an area for big trucks, but you have truck parks at the end of the street. And so they're using Marbert Road as a cut through over to Panola and, going wherever, whether they cut back over to Covington Highway or go down Young Road. And my concern is that sidewalk is on one side and kids would have to cross over for the other subdivisions, and with these heavy trucks, that it's dangerous. The signs have been knocked down. I've been in this same location since 1983. I've raised my kids, graduated from all the schools in DeKalb, college and everything, so I've been there for a long time. And now that all of these truck parks, these trucks were not there. They used to use Covington Highway, but everybody used Covington Highway. And so you can see on the TV, when I-20 is loaded, they tell people to use Covington Highway. So the big trucks are using Marbert Road to get around. Can we have these signs put back up saying, heavy trucks should not be on this throughway?
What were the signs specifically?
The trucks that weighed over 6,000 pounds should not, be using Marbert Road.
Yes, sir. So I know Major Barron will work with traffic engineering to get those signs reinstalled, and that will turn into a directed patrol. That's what I just said. That's going to turn into what I defined as a directed patrol. So it won't be a POAP. I know she'll work with traffic engineering to get the signs reinstalled, and then the directed patrol will follow to make sure that enforcement measures are in place.
Hi, I'm Eunice White. I live in the community near Mr. Banks here. I would like to know, how do you determine where and when a new flock camera will be installed?
Well, there are multiple different factors for the flock cameras, and it depends on the type of flock camera, but we take into account many different crime stats. Obviously, violent crime is on the top of the list, but then there are many illegal dumping areas, loitering areas. So we heavily look at a multifaceted approach to where we want to deploy all of those resources and what's going on in that specific area. But it's heavily statistically driven, and then we also do it by working together. Our precinct commanders report back all of the information to our analysts, and then we develop that approach that way.
Chief, I've got one over here. Ms. Williams has another question.
Okay, I have a question in regards to the noise in the neighborhood. Somebody mentioned chargers, and then also there are people who are playing their music at the highest volume they can. what is the actual noise ordinance? What is the cutoff time for noise? Are these vehicles with these loud mufflers, are they allowed on the streets? I just wonder, because they go up and down Panola, they come in and out my neighborhood, and they do it like it's a sport. It's fun for them.
I'm allowed Chief Hughes to answer. Hit the button.
So interestingly enough, we just had a meeting recently to revamp the current noise ordinance in DeKalb County. It was 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Yeah, and we had to have certain guidelines that we had to meet in order to identify if it was a violation or not. We had what was called noise meters. They had to come out, it had to be calibrated, and it was just real cumbersome. Currently, we're in the process now of changing that ordinance to be able to be identified based on the officer's ability to hear the same noise you hear. So going forward, once we get it passed through the commissioners, which should not be an issue, I'm assuming, of course, but it'll be a situation where if you were to call and say, hey, I'm being disturbed by loud music, now the officer will be able to stand wherever you're standing in your home or wherever, and you hear it, and if they hear it, then they can enforce it any time of the day. And as far as the cars, let me finish real quick. As far as the vehicles are concerned, there is an ordinance for loud mufflers. However, that was a little bit more difficult to enforce if they don't hear it. But if officers hear it, you know, because if you call, that means the car is probably moving. Right.
But in this case, they go up and down, up and
So
down.
yeah, if we can get out there while they're doing so, then we can enforce that as well. You got another question for that?
Yes, a follow-up to the officer being in the same location to hear what I hear. So when I've called in the past, I was asked if I want to meet with the officer, and a lot of times it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, so the answer is no, I'm trying to sleep. So the question I have is, can you all still assess the noise without me or whoever being there physically with you?
That's a very good question. That actually did not come up, but I'm going to make sure that that is added in for situations like that, where they don't necessarily have to come in your home, but if they are in the area at your house, outside, and they hear it, then they would still be able to enforce it, yes.
The water boys. You all mentioned the water boys earlier, and my friend here, she said, well, what, you took them out the street, so what is the replacement? Because they're there trying to make money. So when you take them off the street, is there a program to direct them to, or like what happens to them after they're removed?
So I mentioned earlier about our PAL unit, and PAL unit, it stands for, it's PAL, stands for Police Athletic League, and one of the things that they do, they actually deal specifically with children who were once water boys, and we try to give them constructive things to do. With the PAL unit, they work with WorkSource DeKalb, and WorkSource DeKalb offers them jobs. They connect them with jobs. They teach them about entrepreneurship. So we are, Ms. Webb, I'm trying to talk. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. But figured I had to break the atmosphere up a little bit. But yeah, so we do try to put them in job placements, give them opportunities to make money, you know, legally and lawfully, without, you know, being on the roadway. And I know some people are very sympathetic, I guess, for these young men, but you got to look at the whole picture. No one has any problem with kids trying to earn extra money, but look at the downside and the negative effect that it has on our community. They leave trash. They're in and out of the roadway. We've had several instances where they've stolen money from people. They've stolen people's purses. Most of these incidents have happened in the city of Atlanta with the water boys. I can't call any that we've had in DeKalb, but they're taking people's money. We've had them to almost get hit by cars in and out of the roadway. And it's not a good look for a thriving community to be able to pull up at the red light and to have people, you know, approaching you. And I'm gonna tell you one of the things that my sister brought up, that I thought was rather interesting. If you think about it, these young men are out here in the middle of the day, no restroom facilities, no sanitation. So oftentimes they will relieve themselves away in the roadway or something, and then they'll come back and touch the same water that they're about to give you. I know that sounds kind of graphic, but that's something to think about, and people don't think about that. Even from a sanitation standpoint, I just wouldn't necessarily want somebody handing me water who doesn't have facilities and sanitizer close by. But yeah, we do try to put them in constructive things for them to do. Yes, and Major Barron has something to say about that.
I just also want to piggyback on Chief Hughes. Also keep in mind is that when it comes to the law, we can't pick and choose what we're going to enforce. Because at the end of the day, be careful, because what you want us to allow, we also then have to let other things that you may not want. Okay, so we have to be careful. I've had religious people contact me that want to hand out things in a roadway. And like I told them, how can I allow you to do that? I don't care how peaceful you are, but how can I allow you to do it when just not even a mile up the street, we are sending young men home because they want to sell water? We have to apply the law across the board, no matter who you are, whatever it is that you're trying to do. We cannot pick and choose what we're going to force and who we're going to force it against. That's not fair.
Okay, so it's 7:35. We have a stop at 7:45, so we have enough time for everybody to get out so the library can close promptly at 8. So we've got time for a couple more questions, but we got 10 minutes.
I just wanted to ask if this is a city ordinance or DeKalb County ordinance that is to the parking of commercial vehicles, let's say a semi-truck, a tow truck being parked in a residential neighborhood. Is that allowable, or can we call that in? And if you do come, does the vehicle have to still be there? Because sometimes it may be only there for a few hours, sometimes
Yes.
overnight.
Yes, we would have to observe it.
Okay.
One of the things I would say, too, when it comes to those trucks, if you can at least get the company name, because a lot of times when we contact them and tell them about the big tow fee, if we find that truck back in this community, they then get in contact with their driver and tell them, do not park where they're not supposed to park. We have been able to alleviate a lot of problems that way as well.
I noticed you guys mentioned the PTZ and the gunshot detection. If my community invests in that, are you able to tap in those like you are for the tag readers? Also, I've been telling my community to text 911. Is that just for emergencies, like I guess super serious things, or can they text you, say if, I don't know, the cat is up the tree? And then also the mechanic thing that you guys mentioned in the neighborhood. Who am I talking to for that?
So for the technology, yes, we would be able to incorporate that into our real-time crime center. Lieutenant Smith would be able to help with that. What was the next one?
Texting 911.
Text 911, yes, you can obviously text 911. I would reserve that for low priority versus high priority. And, you know, I do want to emphasize, don't hang up if you do get put on hold with 911, because if you do hang up and call back, you go back to the bottom of the line. They answer them in the order that they're received, and if you get impatient and hang up, you're starting over. So in case of a real emergency, I would call 911. Obviously, if you can't call 911, text is acceptable. And the third?
The mechanics, neighborhood mechanics. Who am I talking to help with that issue?
You can also send that to Ms. Weber,
Okay.
and she would get that to us, and we would get an officer to come out to the location. Now, again, if it's in the yard, we would have to get code enforcement, but if it's on the street, we would be able to address that. Thank you.
Now, I just want to ask about, is gang activity such now that it's would be a real concern for our citizens?
You know, define gang. You know, that's the difficult part. I mean, we've got multiple groups of individuals that are, you know, committing criminal activity. You know, is that considered a gang? As far as, you know, nationally localized gangs, we don't see a lot of that. There is gang activity, and you know, the gang activity that we classify it as, you know, is a group of individuals. They may be, you know, smaller organizations. They may have a neighborhood name, but what we do in relation to investigating, we do have a designated gang unit. They track, identify gang members. They work with criminal and through criminal investigations to address any gang-related activity. And Chief Pop, if you want to add anything to that as far as what our gang unit does in their mission.
Yeah, as Chief was saying, we have a unit that solely does gang investigations. Any kind of crime that has a gang nexus, they get involved in. I'll say this, kind of what Chief was alluding to. There's a huge array of gangs. There's everything from multinational drug trafficking gangs down to people that basically just get together and break into cars and everything in between. Now, are there gangs in DeKalb County? Absolutely. There's gangs in every metro area of this country, without a doubt. Now, having said that, I'll also say this, though. We don't have, when I say a huge gang problem, there's like not active gang fights or wars going on or anything of that nature. There's not a huge amount of gang violence. When we were looking through the homicide and aggravated assaults from last year, actually gangs, anything gang associated, it was actually some of the lowest numbers that we had. So yes, there's gang activity, and to be quite blunt, I don't think that's ever going to go away. I mean, you can go back 50 years, 100 years, there's always been gangs. I mean, there's always, you know, going back ever since the founding of this country, there's been different gangs that run different criminal activities, whether it's the mafia or other street gangs. But as far as does DeKalb have a huge gang problem, as far as violence, not truly, no.
Yeah, quick question. You talked about the revamping of the noise ordinance. I wanted to know that new vamping on the noise ordinance. Does it include dogs who bark all night long?
Yes, the dog barking aspect of the noise ordinance has been in effect, and it will still be in effect. So yes, yeah, we're not changing that.
Okay, so that's actually an illegal act then, because this dog, I mean, he just got the dog a few months ago, and he barks. He's a big dog, and he barks all night long.
So animal control handles the dog noise complaints.
Oh, okay, so I need to call animal control?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You would call 911. You would call 911, and they would actually dispatch it to the animal control officer that's on duty.
Oh, and another thing. This guy, he loves fireworks, and he will celebrate a sneeze. Just all the time, he's shooting fireworks. All the time. Fireworks. All times of night. 2, 3 in the morning. He don't care. He's been a nuisance to the neighborhood. He just moved in a few months ago.
Yeah, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning is illegal. Fireworks are illegal in Georgia now, but the hours are still enforced. So if that's a concern, you need to report that to 911 as well. Got 3 minutes left. Any final questions? One more back here.
I have one particular home where SWAT came out for drugs and they handled that, but I have a concern that they're still using it as a stash house, although people are no longer living there. So would I just follow back up with Pop about that? Oh, yeah, thank you.
And also, any information that, if you all, by any chance, need to get any pertinent information over to any of these specialized units, you still can reach out to us and we would get that information over to them. And one of the things that I do is I then also follow up, because when you contact me and I'm contacting them, you're going to come back to me. So I do follow up. We all work really good together. Like they said earlier, help us and we try and help them. So you can contact us and we can put you in contact with any of our specialized units if you happen to not get the number.
All right, with that, I want to thank everyone for coming. I do want to take the privilege to thank all of the DeKalb County Police staff, Director Fulham, and the library, and of course, our world-famous DCTV. Thank you.